Interrompemos esse podcast para perguntar: quem você quer ser?
Designer, engenheira, pedagoga,
administrador.
Quer saber? O Senac EAD é nota máxima no MEC. Tem cursos de diversas áreas, com conteúdo elaborado por especialistas do mercado e professores mestres e doutores. Ainda tem o Senac Carreiras, conectando estudantes a vagas de emprego em todo o país. Saiba mais em ead.senac.br/graduação.
Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's Dr. Homebrew. Everyone's freaking me out in the studio because I put the beer down. I was like, this is it, right? And like...
Dead silence, crickets.
Well, yeah, because the fucking intro was playing and the headphones were on. I'm like talking and the mics weren't on. So you guys are like, yeah, what? And I'm like, oh my God, if I screwed this up, I'm going to be so mad. But I didn't because I'm a champion.
We'll drink whatever you give us and tell you it's the right beer,
yeah,
JP.
That's right. When we have the guest on, they'll be like, no, I don't remember that being a stout.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't a stout.
Yeah, but, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, we got the right beer because, like I said, I'm a champion. Or we're champions together. Something happens. Anyway, this is Dr. Homebrew, where we taste and judge your beers. If you want to be a part of the show, email me, jp@thebrewingnetwork.com, and I will get back to you in probably 4 months because we're pretty backed up. But get your name in now and reserve your spot in line for Dr. Homebrew. That's right, Dr. Homebrew. The insanely popular show from the Brewing Network.
Not like that other show.
That's really boring.
There's another show? I didn't realize that this was it. They built the studio just for us, I believe.
Pretty much. Little did they know.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, though, I do want to tell you guys about, or actually I want to thank our sponsor, 5 Star. Go to 5 Star Chemicals for everything you need to know about cleaning and sanitizing your home brewing equipment. We drink a lot of beers here on this show, and some have faults because of unsanitary conditions. And it's very obvious and very clear and very easy to avoid. So head over to 5 Star, use your PBW, use your Star San. If your local homebrew shop doesn't have it, consider shopping somewhere else because it's pretty mainstream. It's pretty important. It's very important. It's probably one of the most important things you can do. Probably the most. Would you guys agree? The most important thing.
Yeah, the first time I went to a homebrew shop and bought a homebrew kit, this guy, Al, was like, 3 things you need to know about homebrewing. Sanitation, sanitation, sanitation. Okay, Al. Thank you for the tips.
Thanks, Al.
I'll listen to all 3 of those.
Were you his bodyguard?
Yeah.
That song? I don't know. Anyway, cool. Good story. But on my part... whatever, Brian. You did great. You did great, Brian. I didn't do so good.
Well, you're the host.
I'm not supposed to do good.
Well, we give you the benefit of the doubt sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you for considering.
You try hard. If you give a C+ performance, we'll give you an A.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. You took time and you considered
fearless leader here.
And that's what I like.
Yep.
I don't like just being told willy-nilly stuff. So we have a couple of beers. We have Michael in the studio. Michael, how you doing, man?
Doing great.
And then we have Tom. We're going to get Tom on a little bit later. I've already pushed him back like 3 times. I'm going to have to push him back a little bit more. But, Michael, you brought a Dark Mild in, right?
That's correct.
All right. I can't wait to drink the shit out of that
JP
thing,
would
dude.
just stick to the teleprompter and not go off the cuff as much, so we probably would get to the guests faster.
It is all my fault. Have you had a chance to try the Solidarity on tap?
I did, yeah. I was actually curious because I've heard you rave about it.
That's so good. You like it? It's really good, right? And then we have Tom on with a Marzen, I believe, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, since Michael's here, let's just start with Michael. Brian, you want to start first, buddy?
Yes. Are you pouring me a fresh one there? All right.
No, that's for JP, actually.
Oh.
That's right.
Jeez.
That's right.
Jeez.
Keith is now my new favorite.
Denied. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought this beer... had a nice. I'll just use the one I drank.
You just poured it like 5 minutes ago.
That's true. It's not changing too much. In the nose, it's pleasantly malty. Kind of nice medium level malt. It's not insubstantial. It has a toasty, grainy-like quality and a light nuttiness with that. Very faint cocoa-like notes in there. Very clean. There's no negatives in here. I'm not getting into acetol, acetaldehyde, any of that stuff, DMS. The fruity esters are very low and out of the way. There's no real hop to be detected here. I'm not getting anything in particular there at all. It's just everything out of the way. It's just all malt, which is kind of nice for a dark mild. Did we say what style it was? Yes, we did. Okay.
We did, yeah.
13A. Not 15A, 13A, yes. Appearance-wise, it has a nice brown color. It pours with no head at all. Just a few frothy bubbles forming at just a part of the edge. The first time I poured, it's like just a few bubbles around the edge. So it's like maybe just a bottling issue or something there. The beer is slightly hazy, but they're traditionally unfiltered. You can have a little bit of that. So that part's fine. Just should have a little bit of a head at least, even though it's a session beer, low carbonated. Flavor-wise, getting a nice pleasant maltiness up front. It's got toast, nuttiness, and a light chocolate. And again, seems very cleanly fermented. Definitely balanced to the malt. And somehow managed to pack quite a lot of flavor into, what's otherwise a pretty small beer, which I thought was nice. Finish is pretty dry. The bitterness is low and out of the way. No DMS or diacetyl. The malt just lingers into the aftertaste, and it's pretty much that's what you get is nuttiness, chocolate, little toast. It's nice. Mouthfeel wise, it's medium light body. It's not too insubstantial. Honestly, it feels like a little bigger beer than it probably is, which is kind of nice. If I get too light, it's kind of boring, and too just watery. It's not watery.
No, definitely not. Very
low carbonation, no astringency. It's quite smooth, even though the dryness would leave it susceptible to any hint of astringency. So that's nice. Just smooth overall. So, it's a very pleasant drinking dark mild with a clean fermentation. Just has almost no carbonation, which detracts slightly from the flavor, but it still tastes really good. And I kind of find myself forgiving that a little more than I might if I was just feeling harsher today. But you
caught him on a good day, so that's good.
Yeah, if you bump that up a bit, you have a very fine beer indeed. So I gave it what I thought it would be with just a little more carbonation. I gave it a 39. A little more carbonation might push it up. It's probably a 40-point beer to me. So it's pretty tasty, and I just only knocked it down a little bit for that carbonation because I can tell what's here and how well it was brewed, and just the balance is so nice that I just really like it. So, thanks for sharing, Michael.
Awesome. All right, Keith, go for it, dude.
So I'm going to be the bad cop here. I'm having a bad day. I've been having a bad week, so this is going to be really, really rough. For some reason, this beer right away on the nose smells like pizza. I'm not sure why. A strong sausage aroma. No.
Fennel seed. Yeah.
Okay, so it had a medium cocoa, caramel, medium low coffee, light graininess, no hops. Esters are very subtle, very clean overall, with just a trace of green pepper. I got it as it warmed a little bit. Appearance, dark brown. Once again, as Brian mentioned, almost no head. A little bit of medium haze, I would say. Looks a little too lifeless, I think, in terms of carbonation in general. Once again, it's supposed to be a low carbonated beer, but this is pushing that a little bit. Flavor-wise, sweet caramel malt, low chocolate, hints of coffee, also getting that green pepper, some spiciness from that, light sulfur, yeastiness, very dry finish. Balance is definitely towards the malt, though, and the bitterness is very low. No hop flavor, but overall, very, very clean beer. Medium low body, which is appropriate. Very low carbonation, which is a little too low. maybe just a hint of astringency from some malt, but no, overall I think that's really well done there with having the dark malt and not a lot to hide behind. Really enjoy this beer. Really enjoy the style overall. I know we had a style earlier today that I didn't really like that much and gave it a fairly high score, but this beer is a style I really enjoy. I thought you did a really good job with this. I love the notes of chocolate, coffee, the slightly sulfur notes from the yeast. Interested in knowing what yeast strain you use there. Not off-putting really. I just picking up a little bit of that sulfuriness and carbonation. Actually, obviously, the carbonation issues are the biggest problem here, and that's a pretty easy fix. I'm assuming that's probably just a bottle. Bringing a full bottle in, and when we opened it, it was filled all the way at the top. So no big problem there. But it's something for a competition you'd want to clean up just a little bit to push it over the top there. I gave it a 35, just out of just not having carbonation overall. I have a hard time giving anything higher probably than something along that line of the score.
Well, Michael's in the studio here, so we're just, and he looks like a nice guy. Just, no, I didn't, not being overly kind. I don't think. I don't know. I just really like the balance of it. I could see what it would be with that one little fix.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Michael, you want to hit your recipe up, and we'll kind of start there. Go for it, dude.
So I've been brewing milds for a while and found that I like a balance of I use Golden Promise for most of the base malt, but I've been blending in the Ashburn mild malt.
Who makes that?
I'm not sure. I think Breeze.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Sounds
I think
good.
It's meant to give a little more body with still an English kind of character to it.
Okay.
Or more malty character.
Okay. So not like a crystal malt, but just kind of more less
it's a pale,
residual
it's like
sweetness.
A base malt. But
oh, really? Okay.
With more residual body to it, I guess.
Okay. Because Golden Promise has that, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
To me, that leaves a sweeter finish. Okay.
Yeah, I could probably get away with just Golden Promise. I've just gotten in the habit of using this mild malt.
Yeah.
So those are the two base malts. They make up 70, almost 74%, so most of the grist.
Okay.
And then I use some wheat flaked wheat, and some a bunch of different character malts to add in some color, flavor. I used Karastan, which is just a nice, sweet, crystally, caramely malt. Mm-hmm. The Golden Naked Oats from Simpsons, I really like those as a crystal oat malt. I used something from Simpsons called a DRC. I'm not sure what that is. It's just a dark crystal.
Dark roasted crystal, yeah.
Okay.
And it's the first time I've used it, actually. It was kind of an experiment. I was also using, for the roasty character, I like the Carafa Special 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
how much of these are you using?
So the wheat and the Karastan, the caramel malt, I used a half a pound of each.
Okay.
In a 5.5 gallon batch.
Okay.
I used 4 ounces of everything else, so
not a lot.
No.
Yeah.
Little tastings of each, and then finally a British dark crystal, just to add more of that kind of sweet, fruity, kind of to soften some of the roast, but add a little bit of richness to it.
Okay. What about for hops?
For hops, I just did one edition of East Kent Golding than this one. I played around before with like a later edition for more floral notes, but didn't want to do that in this batch. So.
Yeah.
It's all about the malt, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, you heard their feedback. Do you have any questions for the...
What about yeast and
there you go.
water as well?
Yeah, so...
Or you can call back in later and tell us those things.
Just go out and come back in again, over and over again.
Yeast, I have tried many different yeasts for this style, and for a variety of reasons, one of which is just convenience, I've been using the dry Windsor yeast from Danstar, and that's what I used in this one. I like the residual kind of... It doesn't ferment very well. It doesn't attenuate out that much. But I like I like that about it. I've come to kind of be familiar with that characteristic of it, and
it might be where some of that body's coming from.
Yeah,
too.
I think it really adds or leaves some of that body, and just amazing. I can't say that I really know what I'm saying when I say this, but like this English character, there's like a lot of character to it that I enjoy. And actually, you're drinking it pretty fresh. I brewed it about a week and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
So that's also part of the carbonation issue. Still kind of picking up CO2 in the keg.
Okay.
So it's bottled from keg. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You lose a little bit there, too, sometimes.
Yeah.
If it's not quite there already, then you bottle it off of that.
And I always struggle trying to know how much CO2 to give it. I am always going to lean conservatively just because this is what I like to drink every day, and I don't want it to be overly carbonated. It's a fine line, but I agree. It's not carbonated quite enough.
And how are you filling it up from the keg? Are you using like a bottle filler, or is it just straight from like a...
It's a dip tube attached to a picnic line, so it's not the best, but it works.
Yeah, better than nothing, man. Better than just opening that tap.
Right. Water-wise, I do use RO water and then build it up from there. I've been using Bruin Water's spreadsheets. I like those a lot.
Okay.
If nothing else, just to get the mash pH right without having to worry about it.
So what's the mash pH on this beer?
Let me pull that up.
Just asking all the details, man.
We're getting very in depth here.
What do you want to know for? Like, do you have something specific in mind you're kind of chasing down?
I'm interested. For dark beers, I like to have the mash pH a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see 5.4 or 5.5, something like that. I feel like it lower than that. Sometimes you start feeling a little bit of acidity. I don't know. I find that at home sometimes. I have a hard time in the San Francisco water just keeping the beer mash pH high enough. So that's why I wanted to ask you what the pH was, and then you're building up from RO. What are you using to keep the the pH high enough? Essentially,
right.
What are you adding back to it? What are you using? Baking soda? Are you using pickling lime? There's a lot of different things you can use there to get what you want to get, and that's why I was asking.
Okay.
So,
personal reasons.
Yeah,
it's private.
So, full disclosure, I actually have gotten a bit lazy in just trusting my spreadsheet. So, in reality, we actually I don't know the exact pH of the mash, but based on the spreadsheet, it was at 5.5.
Okay.
And to get that, I am using primarily pickling lime, a little bit of baking soda.
Okay.
And then some calcium chloride, gypsum. Mm-hmm. And in this one, a little bit of Epsom salts as well.
Yeah, it seems like the water's good.
But all in very low amounts. Like the finishing profile, I got 60 ppm calcium, 4 magnesium, 11 sodium, 52 sulfate, 61 chloride. So just trying to... I've overdone it with the minerals enough to know that it really messes with the... especially in this beer, I really enjoy it to be smooth and then kind of aiming for a more soft mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. And I've known some of the minerals to really
Epsom salt especially a little too much Epsom salt. Yeah, definitely. Less is always better on that. Definitely.
All right. Do you have any questions for the guys about their feedback to you?
Fermentation temperature.
These questions aren't for you, Keith. I want you to know this.
I like this.
They're for Michael.
He's prompting me.
Jesus.
I believe I start it lower, so like 65, and then let it rise and also warm it up in a water bath, essentially.
Okay.
Up to 68 for a majority of primary, and then as it starts to settle down, raise it up and aim towards 72 and keep it there for 2 or 3 days, and then let it drop and chill it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you're getting rid of all the diacetyl.
Yeah.
The beer can have a tiny bit and be okay, but I prefer it like this with none. It's just, why have that in the way?
Anything else, Keith?
He's about
do I have any more
two-thirds of the way down his
Yeah.
checklist.
Do you want anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
The
Michael, do you have any questions for the guys based on their feedback now?
what was the ratio, the water to grist, the ratio?
Jesus Christ.
No.
Michael, do you have any feedback for them? Any questions? I really want to get to you
this
so
is the
then
best,
you can...
judging I've ever had.
Okay, good.
Just putting that out.
All right, thank you.
It's live.
I can't think of any unique questions. I'm curious because I haven't gotten to try many dark miles like this.
Yeah, there's none really out there.
So
There's not a whole
the
lot.
ones that you have all tried,
Yeah.
do you have any tips based on that? I mean, obviously this is up to like a matter
It's
of personal
personal,
preference.
yeah,
so
right.
at a point, screw you. But I'm curious because I'm interested in also your palates. I know you have educated palates. So
This is a little richer than a lot of the dark milds I've tried, and but it's nice that way. It's got a lot of flavor. Some of them come across as just too watery and boring to me. But this, I could drink a lot of, It's really nice and sessionable.
Did I ask you about the OG and Final Gravity?
no, let's talk about it.
Why don't you answer his question, Keith? You're the one that knows, you've been to London and you've drank
I really
some
haven't
of
had a lot of dark milds there, to be honest. And even anytime you go to London now, you end up having American Pale Ales.
Icy
pretty
cold
much. Is all they
Budweiser.
have.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I mean, all the cask beers now tend to have American hops in them, so it's kind of disappointing in that way. And there are some places that are making things like milds, but and I've brewed a bunch, and I knew a guy who won first place in the Nationals. He made a mild as well, and I think he did a really great job with it. I'm interested in knowing how big it was and how small it was. I mean, obviously you can cheat. I think a lot of times when you win in this category for competitions, you're at the very top end of the top end of OG, and you're high in Final Gravity as well. So you're mashing high and you're using a less attenuative yeast strain and stuff like that, and adding a lot of specialty malts. So it sounds like you're doing everything right generally anyway, but just wondered, those numbers, because it tastes like it would probably be on the higher side is what I would be guessing.
OG 1036, and it got down to 1014, so it's about 2.9% calculated.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's where I like it, because like you were saying, I like to drink this every day.
Beer bong 2 or 3 a night. That's the way I like mine. That's how they do it in London at the miles. They just have beer bongs everywhere, and foosball and beer bongs is all what
sounds fun.
Have you tried it with like a California yeast or kind of a cleaner ale strain? I like the flavors. For me, the English fruitiness kind of is a little too much for me.
Right.
But I like it just kind of crisp, and I like those chocolate flavors and those notes, and then kind of just cut it off at the end.
I haven't. I've only done English strains with it. I did the West Yorkshire with it recently, and that was good.
Okay. But I mean, like you said, it's personal preference.
He's following kind of the conventional wisdom of if you're brewing an English beer, use the English ingredients.
Totally.
And I've come to know that I like that English character. Like, I also make bitters that I crave that. I don't know what it is. It's the yeast, I think. And I like it fresh, too, when not all of the yeast, like most of the yeast is gone, but a little bit is left. That slight haziness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like that flavor.
Probably where the little bit of sulfur comes from, too. The little bit that's where I was picking that up.
Yeah. Okay.
That's personal recent experience. I was kegging beers, and I was like, there's still some yeast a little bit left in there, and there's a little bit of sulfur, so...
I think it would taste weird with American yeast. It would just taste lifeless and weird.
What is Solidarity?
I think it's American yeast.
That's what I was noticing. It has a really clean profile, and that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they don't bill it as an English mild. They just American dark mild, and so it's not really a thing. But it's
crushable mild.
Yeah. But maybe that's probably why I would be interested to try that grain recipe, because it is so full. And rich, but with American yeast. Well, if that's it,
do they make such a thing as a juicy mild?
Keith, are you done?
A Vermont style mild.
Four more questions. I think I'm done.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming in, Michael. I appreciate it.
I'd be used. I forgot to ask about.
Why don't you guys go outside and talk about the beer, and I'll talk to the next guest.
have another pizza, in the studio.
Right. Before we get to a break, though, guys, GrogTag has amazing labels designed by professional designers who design professional things. But did you know they have loads of label templates that you can upload your own images into? Or that you can design your very own label and have GrogTag print them for you on their durable and reusable labels? Well, you can. Head over to grogtag.com today and use code BNARMY for 10% off your purchase of some amazing custom labels. That's grogtag.com. Use code BNARMY. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Homebrew Hangout.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Cans.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for sticking out, everybody.
Sticking out?
Sticking out. Let's see. Before we get Tom on, you guys know the folks at Craft Brew have released an awesomely compact conical fermenter called the Catalyst. Made from plastic that is over 90% more scratch resistant than other plastic conicals and 71% less oxygen permeable. Its low-profile design allows it to fit snugly in your fridge or right on your countertop. Cleaning is a breeze because the entire lid snaps off, so you can be sure to get all those little crusties off the side. I was talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Perhaps the best part is the giant 3-inch butterfly valve at the bottom, which allows you to attach any size mason jar at the bottom for yeast collection during fermentation. Recently, they teamed up with Stone Brewing Company to offer a homebrew version of the famous Stone Pale Ale. So be sure to check that out under the product section of their website. You can learn more about both of these things at craftabrew.com.
I think you can pull out your whole top rack of your dishwasher and put the whole thing inside there, too. It's another thing I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just take off the lid, flip it upside down, and boom.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to get Tom here. All right, we'll get Tom on. I think we're pouring a Marzen from Tom, right?
Tom's Marzen, yep.
All right. Let's see if...
Number you have dialed.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's her again.
With the access code.
All right.
You don't know how to dial.
There's something weird going on with our phone. So, Keith, do me a favor. Just start with Tom's beer, and I'll email him and have him call me.
Okay. Sounds good. So this is a Marzen, category 6A. Just to clarify, there are now two different, essentially, Oktoberfests. There's the Fest beer, which is sort of a paler, hoppier version of the beer. And then there's the Marzen, which is the more traditional amber Oktoberfest that people are more familiar with. The Fest beer is now served at the Oktoberfest tents in Munich.
Meant to be pounded by the liter.
Yeah, and this is more of the old school... richer version of it. I think with the American versions, they tend to make them a little too much caramel. They still should be fairly dry finish in the beer. It should be more about maltiness and less about caramel. And I think, for example, not to, hit a beer, but like Sam Adams is a really hoppy and very caramel heavy version of the beer. Sam Adams at Oktoberfest, that's pretty popular, but it's probably not a very good Marzen. According to style.
It's what we Americans do. We just amp everything up
right.
and throw some crystal in there for a good measure.
Okay, so I'll jump into this one then. I got a rich, toasty malt character, low caramel notes, medium low spicy hop aroma. Getting a hint of red apple ester. That's medium low, I would say, but no other off fermentation character. Obviously, Marzen should be super, super clean. Color-wise, light amber, small head.
I think we got Tom on. Hang on a second. Tom, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell's going on with our phone system here in the studio today, but it wouldn't let me dial you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
you didn't put in the 50 cents, I guess.
Right. We're at a payphone. We're at a bus stop. We do the show from a bus stop. It's a whole thing. Anyway, Brian's in the middle of your what do you call it? Of your beer.
Cool.
But just to recap real fast, have you ever brewed this style before?
No. This is the first time I'm brewing this.
Okay.
I've only brewed like one lager before this.
Okay.
So it's a favorite style of mine. So it's one that I want to nail down eventually.
Sounds good.
Have you lagered
more
before?
brews to do.
This is his second. He's only done one other one.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Keith. Go ahead. I cut you off. You were talking about the head or something.
I don't even remember.
Keith,
I was talking
Andy,
about head.
Brian, whatever your name is.
Brian, whatever. So small but long-lasting head, maybe just a little bit off white in color. There's some haze, which is inappropriate. Should be brilliantly clear. So I gave it a 2 out of 3 on appearance. Flavor-wise, deep malt, toasty bread. Once again, light notes of caramel. Overall finish is medium dry. Bitterness is medium, but it's apparent. I think balance. I don't think. I actually know. Balance is probably maybe leaning toward the malt more than the hops. Bitterness. Finish is a little bit harsh for the style. Getting some oxidation, a little bit of papery flavor as well, and then finally I'm getting that red apple flavor here too as well. I'm going to say as well as many times as possible. Mouthfeel is medium. Carbonation is medium low. It's a little low for the style for the carbonation. No warming. A little bit of astringency, but maybe that's more just that the hop and the water sort of combo together. So overall, I thought it was a pretty pleasing beer. I think the biggest flaw for me was that the red apple flavor. Just a little bit too much esters for a lager, and then the finish just being a little bit hard. I'd like to hear a little bit about the water when we wrap up here in terms of giving the feedback. What kind of water you're using there? I think those are probably my biggest complaints, but overall I thought it was a really good beer. Also the paper, a little of the papery notes, a little oxidation. I'd like to hear about the age of the beer and also possibly how you bottled it. But overall I gave it a 32.
All right, excellent. Go for it, Brian.
Okay. So I'm getting in the nose a pleasant big bread crust-like malt up front. There's a low spicy floral hop in the background. I didn't get any big esters in there. It's maybe almost none. Now that you mentioned the red apple, I could see a little bit of that, but it's not heavy. Pretty clean lager profile overall. Any of the sulfury notes or anything are nicely subdued in there and got cleaned up pretty well. So if we're not lagering very much, you're doing better than I did on my second lager, I think. No diacetyl acetaldehyde, any of that stuff. It's a nice color, nice reddish, ambery, orangey body to the beer with a low whitish head that faded pretty quickly. There was some moderate and haze in there, some obvious haze, which again, it should be cleaned up. But the flavor-wise, the malt is clean and toasty bread crust-like and pretty pleasant. It's opening with a hint of sweetness from the malt, like more than just a hint. It's pretty sweet. But it finishes out okay. I mean, it should be maybe a little drier in the finishes. It's like medium to medium dry in the finish. So like you get a little hint of sweetness up front, and it kind of washes away a little bit, but not as much as they really wanted to for this style. It's definitely balanced the malt. There's not a lot of bitterness here. Very subdued. The lager fermentation seems pretty clean to me. But yeah, there's just enough hop to balance. There's not no obvious alcohol in here. And again, I didn't get any DMS, diacetyl acetaldehyde. Mouthfeel-wise, medium-bodied, no alcohol warmth, pretty smooth on the palate. It's not biting to me. I kind of disagree with Keith there. It's pretty smooth in the mouthfeel. The carbonation seems a bit low, but it's kind of crisp and pleasant. The CO2 could be a bottling issue or something.
Yeah.
That happens. But overall, it's a very pleasant drinking Marzen. I liked it quite a bit. Obviously using good German ingredients to drive that malt flavor, and it's balanced correctly towards the malt. There's a couple of minor flaws, sure, like a little CO2 and a little haze, but it's the let's see. The low CO2 is kind of a minor issue, but it does affect a few things in the beer when you have low CO2. It affects the appearance, and the flavors that are being driven in the mouthfeel. Although, it's a pretty bold Marzen. If you had more CO2, it could be driving even more bold flavors, and it might push it a little further out of balance. So, it's kind of funny that way. Could bump the CO2 up a little better to, help enhance the crispness of the beer too. That was a pretty nice beer, just a little bit big overall, and some kind of very minor, fine tuning is needed there. But it's, I gave it a 36. I thought it was pretty tasty. Thanks for sharing it, Tom.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
You got any questions for the guys, Tom?
Yeah. So this is it's a favorite style of mine, so I really want to nail it down. And one of the last beers that I had of this style that just blew me away was the Ballast Point Dead Ringer.
Okay.
It was it's just like I cracked that and I was just like, oh man, that beer, that's what I need to make. So I think that what you guys are getting, you're saying it's a little papery, maybe a little oxidized. That's probably from the bottling. I bottled these beers a little while back for a competition in early December. Actually, I think it was a little earlier than that.
Yeah.
I don't have a counter pressure filler, so I just did everything I could with a dip tube and a lower the pressure, cold bottle, all that stuff. But I didn't purge it for CO2 like I should have. So,
damn it!
You just had those bottles around. Yeah. How did it do in the competition?
Worse than it did just now. It was kind of all over the map in the competition. Like one person said there's way too much hops, another person said not enough hops, but it was in a Pacific Northwest competition, so I think everybody just wanted hops in it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of all over the map. It was hard to nail down, which is why I'm psyched to have it on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, run through your recipe if you wouldn't mind, if you have that in front of you.
Yeah, I do.
Let's do
so
that
I
first.
pulled it off of a show from Doc when he took over for Jamil. When Jamil had his first show, first 3 episodes, he did a Marzen episode.
And you listened to Doc. Wow.
Yeah, that's too bad for you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he gave ranges, and I just kind of fell within the ranges somewhere. Just kind of randomly picked something.
There you go.
So I did it's a 5-gallon batch, and I did 40% 2-row, 30% Munich malt, 20% Vienna, just under 10% Cara Munich, and 2% Carapils. And then I always throw in a handful of flaked wheat to try to help with head retention, because I've been having some problems with that in the past.
All right. What about hops?
So for hops, I did Hallertau at 60 minutes and then at 20 minutes. So that was 15.6 IBUs at the 60 minutes and 8 IBUs at the 20 minutes.
Okay.
What about the mashing regimen? What did you do for the malt that you mentioned? What were you doing? Was it just a single infusion, or were you doing a sort of decoction?
Just a single infusion, got cooler. So I did 153 was my infusion temperature.
And why the 2-row instead of Pils malt?
I'm not sure. I guess German. I mean, it was a Pilsner German 2-row.
Oh, so was it okay? So it was a German Pils malt then. Okay.
Yeah, it was German.
Okay,
for sure.
Cool.
Okay, well, now that we have your recipe, now we can, I think, field any appropriate questions you might have.
No, but we haven't gone through Keith's checklist.
I was asking Keith. That's my way of asking Keith.
Question number 1.
My way of asking Keith is, hey, Tom, do you have any questions?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to know what I was drinking while I was brewing? Or?
What were you wearing, more importantly? Let's get right down the fucking brass tacks.
All right, we'll start with the shoes.
Not Crocs, please. Tell me it wasn't Crocs.
We tell you what we're drinking.
No cargo shorts, no Crocs. That's the rule, pretty much, for brewing.
Yeah,
that's what he's wearing right now. He's like, motherfuckers. So yeah, go ahead. What do you want to ask specifically from these handsome young fellows?
Well, so it kind of sounded like you guys were saying that it was a little maybe on like the bigger end. Is that kind of what I was getting from you guys?
I felt like it was a little bold flavor-wise overall. Yeah, and if you had more CO2 there, too, it would be pushing a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But also, yeah, just a little sweet in the finish and a little, want it to be a little crisper maybe. And what was your... You had a lot of beefs over there, the oxidation and the...
Oxidation, estery, and I think the final was just a little bit... It felt a little harsh in the finish, maybe just the water. Interested what the water was going on.
Yeah, we disagreed there.
But I didn't think it was too big, so I think we disagreed. We disagreed there. I thought to me it felt like I guess maybe with the lack of carbonation, it did seem a little bit sweeter than maybe it could have or should have. But I thought beyond that, I thought with a little carbonation, it didn't seem like out of control. But I don't know. I like bigger Marzens. I think maybe anyway.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that too. So I'm okay with that advice. Going bigger. Unless I'm going to, enter to another competition and just get hammered again.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, it's the American way.
Yeah. If you wanted to know my water, I build up from RO just because my source water just changes so often.
Yeah.
It's hard to balance with it. So I made calcium, 75 parts per million, about 6.5 magnesium, 13 Na, 53 SO4, 132 chloride, and nothing for HCO3.
Seems a little big. I would prefer to keep those numbers lower if I were doing it. I mean, it depends on what yeast strain you're using too, because some yeasts tend to even like calcium. Anyway, everyone's like, oh, you'd have your floor of calcium at 50, but I swear that some yeast strains do almost better when calcium's even below that floor. So we haven't talked about yeast strain yet, but it seems like some of those numbers are like a calcium is a 70. If I was building up, I would be like, I want to max out at 50 for calcium and kind of stay there and not go any higher. Like let's add as little as we possibly can to our water and
a lot of sulfates too. Yeah,
it seems a little excessive.
Was there a water profile you were shooting for?
Yeah, that was I was going off of the water buck from John Palmer, and so they were kind of saying calcium minimum of 50. So, but you're saying calcium maximum of 50. I could keep that down a little bit.
That's just what Keith says.
I think back and forth.
I always take what he says with a grain of salt.
Always believe the guy who has a book.
Keith has never written a book.
I have recipes in a book. Then I can give you that if you want to look at it.
He might have written some pamphlets.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's personal experience too. So, I don't try it. Why not? You're probably going to brew it again, so you might as well mess with it.
I'd cut the middle between that. Like do 50. The mean, do 50. Then use calcium at 50. Get your calcium to 50. You want to, you probably want to have, more. Obviously, for a beer like this, more chloride than sulfate, and go that direction. And whatever it takes you to get there.
What is that? Is chloride more hard, like a harder?
Chloride's going to give you more of the malt It's going to give you more accentuate the
softer malt.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
And sulfate's going to accentuate the
hop harshness,
Okay.
kind of. Yeah.
which no one really likes anymore.
No. But for this beer, you
Yeah.
definitely don't want that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they don't even add bittering hops to IPAs anymore. It's just all Whirlpool these days. Everything.
Kids in your whirlpool. Anything else, Tom?
Yeast strain.
Yeast strain was Weist Bavarian lager.
Never heard of it.
2206. That's what that one is.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
We're trying to make up for that last show that we did, episode number 93. Just sucked for asking for recipes, right?
That's right.
And here we are on 94.
94
We're
making a rebound.
We're going to talk for 2 hours about this guy's recipe.
Anything
It's gonna
else,
be
Tom?
Awesome.
No, I think we covered it all.
Fermentation temperature.
Where do you live again?
What did you ferment at? Because you said you lager, but that's a range, right?
Yeah. I lagered. I started at I think it was 50. I've got it here. Right here. Started at 50. Left it there for I think it was about 3 weeks. Then 2 weeks. Then I started raising it a degree a day until 60. Held it there for like a little less than a week. Cold crashed. Left it at cold crash for like about a week because I just couldn't get to it. And then kegged.
Did you? Sorry, can I ask more questions, JP?
Yeah, please do. No, please do.
First question is, let's hear about the yeast starter and how much yeast you pitched. Second question is, did you take any readings when you started raising the temperature, or was this more of a time-based sort of thing?
Before you answer, Tom, I want to know why you're asking that, Keith. Just to help the listeners, track down their own solutions.
My insanity.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the esters. I do get some of those apple esters, and I'm trying to figure out where they're coming from. And honestly, some of the malts that you're talking about will give you some of those flavors too. So it could be more malt derived than fermentation derived. I'm just trying to, in a lot of ways, I am being selfish, trying to make sense of my own logic or what I've tasted. And hey, why did that happen?
He's trying to dial in his own recipes right here.
Yeah. No, I don't need help with that. But I'm interested in hearing that sort of side of it. Did you have how much yeast did you pitch, and what would give us what would give me the flavor of red apple a little bit? That's what I'm thinking about.
Okay, so thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I did do a starter. I usually start my starters on a Wednesday if I'm going to brew on a Saturday.
That's your first mistake. You need to always start your starters on a Tuesday. No matter what day you brew, it's always on a Tuesday. It's one of the rules. Wearing yellow, right? That's what you have to wear yellow when you make a starter?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We need that guy calling.
Go ahead, Tom.
So I Beersmith called for about 390 billion cells, and so I made a 2-liter starter, and I was coming in at 346, so I was coming in a little low with the starter, so I pitched also just another vial, or smack pack, I guess in this case, with when I was pitching, so I added a little bit more.
The pitch temperature?
I pitched at as close to 50 as I could get. I think I was down to
which was 68? Yeah, no, sorry. Low 50s?
Yeah, it was about 52 pitching. Yeah. I think I got it down to 50, and by the time I got my stuff together, I was like, oh, crap, it went up to 52.
But that should be fine. I think a 2-degree swing, that shouldn't be a big deal, right?
Yeah, that all sounds good to me.
Okay.
What about oxygen? Really getting deep now, you oxygenate your wort?
Yeah, I have. I do it in line as I transfer from kettle to my carboy. So it's not really exact. I don't have a timer on it. I kind of have to just go by what the bubbles look like, and I'm still dialing all that in. It seems like every single time I brew, I add a new piece of equipment that completely messes me up, but it's so much fun. So
you don't have a way to measure the dissolved oxygen yet, man.
I know. Such
You're disappointing Keith over here.
Yeah.
No, that means even real breweries have a hard. That's an expensive piece of equipment, a real DO meter.
It's a lab. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Sounds good. But you're oxygenating in line. But are you chilling to the temperature where you're pitching at that point in time? Or are you chilling after you've oxygenated in line?
I'm chilling before. So I chill with with the Jamil-O-Matic wort chiller.
Gotcha. Okay, the Recirc wort chiller. Yeah. Okay.
Chilling before makes sense because you're going to get more dissolved oxygen that way. So
no, of course. Some people they'll have a chiller in line and then they'll
run the O2
in. And it'll go into a fridge, and then they'll chill it for 5 hours, and then pitch the yeast. But I oxygenated it. But
at 68 degrees.
Yeah, but now most of that oxygen's probably not in solution anymore. Whatever. Yeah. So that's why I was asking that question.
Okay,
that's important.
Anything else from anybody?
No. Let's move on to the.
All right, Tom. We're going to let you go then, bud.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Yeah, thank you, man. And when you rebrew this, let us know.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, man.
Cool.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks also, Tom, for hanging on for so long. I bumped him for an hour and a half.
No, it's fun talking to people that know what they're doing, too. He seems like he really pays attention.
Yeah, definitely. You know what else pays attention? The Smart Brew Water Testing Kit. It has a revolutionary photometer system, which is the first and only one on the market with its own app. And the app does all the math for you. There's no math needed. There's no titration. There's no all this kind of stuff. It's for home or commercial use. The only meter on the market that runs water tests with no math. Again, no math. That's my personal selling point because I'm stupid as a rock. It pairs via Bluetooth and updates your water results instantly to your own personal water profile. And then you can email the results to the rest of your brew team if you're in a commercial brewery, or post it to your Facebook page or your brew club's Facebook page or something like that, and let your homebrew club get the lowdown on your base water profile. It can test for over 40 different water quality tests. 4 come preloaded, and more are available. You can test for things like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, and more. And it tests with needing only 4 milliliters of water per each test. It's pretty cool. You can save $10 on either the standard or advanced Smart Brew testing kit over at smartbrewkit.com by entering code TBN10. smartbrewkit.com.
That's a pretty cool tool.
It's a pretty cool tool, man. I like it. And, again, they're going to be at HomebrewCon, so be sure to stop by the booth and take a look for yourself, man. It's a really, really cool thing. Even if you're not in the market for one or you already have one or whatever, tell the people at iDip, at the Smart Brew Kit there. The Smart Brew Kit makes the thing, right? Thank you very much for sponsoring Dr. Homebrew. Just let them know that you guys are listening and you're looking at their stuff and you want to buy their stuff, and that's really important for us. So anyway, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to give some grog tags away. We're going to drink some more beer, and that's about it. Hang tight. We'll be right back.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
I'm sorry to tell you this.
I gotta
we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Before we give stuff away, I want to point you guys to the Beer Bug. Go to beerbug.com. If you guys really need to monitor your fermentation, well, let's be honest. You need to monitor your fermentation, and it's important just from an information standpoint. If you're anything like me, it's really cool. It sits on the top of your carboy. It drops a little weight inside your beer while it's fermenting, so you get to know exactly when fermentation kicks off, where it's going, when it spikes, when it's declining, so you can either do a dry hop edition or rack out of it, or if you're making a cider, you can stop fermentation at any point in time, or a mead or something like that, and it saves all that data to an app. So check it out. The Beer Bug, they're great sponsors of the show. The product is really cool. I have one. I think it's a great product. Check them out. Beer Bug. Beerbug.com. Okay. So before we give everything away, this is a beer that I made. I don't know why. I made this beer. I was cooking, and I was like heating up some ginger in a frying pan, and I was like, God, that smell of warm ginger to me would go great in an IPA, like a juicy, with juicy hops, right? Like the fucking really citrusy tropical hops. And then I was thinking about it, like maybe some oats. So I toasted some oats, right?
Ginger, toasted oats,
and Szechuan peppercorn.
Oh.
I don't know why. So,
because you hate IPA and you like to abuse it.
Yeah. I've actually been drinking. I actually think it's pretty delicious.
What's your water profile?
I'll tell you, it's a carbon filter.
What colored Crocs were you wearing?
Blue. Well, one blue and one green, because I couldn't find the matching set. I drink this at home. I really enjoy it. To me, it was the first time that I've thought of something weird like this, and it actually came together exactly the way I thought.
That's called an idea.
Yeah. Is that what those are called?
Yeah.
Fuck, those are weird.
No, this is not as bad as I thought. Based on the description, I was like, this is going to be freaking weird.
It has an interesting, like, peppery, chili sweetness that I thought you were going. I was thinking you were going to say chilies or green chilies or yellow bell pepper or something like that. I wouldn't have guessed ginger, but when you said it, I can pick that out.
Clicks, yeah.
But it's not spicy.
No, it's
a warm kind of.
The other flavors associated with those things.
Yeah.
I think it should be spicy. I think
gingerbread kind of.
I'd like it better if it had just a tiny bit of like heat to back it. And no one likes that, of course, but you probably wouldn't want to have any if you put like a little bit of chili in it. But I would actually enjoy it more. But I like anything hot, so whatever. I'm that idiot there that likes that sort of stuff.
No, I mean I agree with you. If I had to do it again, which I don't know if I will, I probably wouldn't put oats in it at all. Or maybe I would just to mellow the mouthfeel out, but I don't think I would toast them. And then I put in like toasted ginger, so I might put more ginger in, and then I also put like some I dry gingered or whatever. I just like scraped a bunch and threw it in there. So I might do more of that because I wanted that balance of that. I don't know, man. Nothing like cutting a slab of ginger and putting it on a frying pan, like with no oil, just let it get warm.
Yeah.
Smells so good, man.
I'd say just triple the ginger,
and
then put in a little horseradish sauce, and squirt in a big freaking squirt of sriracha, and then
and a celery,
drink the shit
root,
out of that.
Celery root with like a giant piece of pizza on top of it.
Yes,
I think it'd be great to mash it all in.
Perfect.
I don't know.
JP made an IPA.
The problem with the toasted oats and with the hops is that for me, I get like it tastes like a little diacetyl, but I don't think it is. I've never really had a problem with that. I think it's the oats and the toasted ginger and the kind of like flavor profile is kind of leaving this thing.
What hops did you put in here?
Oh, fuck. I forget now.
Mosaic and Citra.
I could tell it was an IPA. I could tell. Like,
well, there you go. Okay,
so at
I appreciate that.
The base beer, you can tell it's a good IPA.
Yeah.
Good.
It was all the other...
Here, let me see what I did.
Several flavors that were kind of...
He's winning there,
tricking the mind.
You can tell what beer it is.
Senses.
Good. I'm glad. See, that I was just trying to trick everybody.
It's
dude.
interesting the way the ginger plays with the hops, too. It's just... You'd think it'd be weirder than it is.
Well, authorization failed. I'm trying to log in, but...
He can't get into his own spreadsheet.
There we go. Got my recipe. Oh, here's... No, wait,
it's not too sweet or anything like that.
Yeah,
it is a little hard. I don't know why I'm trying to pick... everything I do, I nitpick stuff, but it does feel a little bit harsh. I wish it wasn't as harsh as it was.
Feels like, the water's maybe a little minerally, and it's driving the hops a little too much.
Well, and I think some of that's the Szechuan peppercorn.
That's a harsh herb. It's got a weird spiciness that's not hot. It's like a...
It's that Szechuan peppercorn.
Tingly
yes.
weirdness.
Yeah. Then that's what I was going for, but I was afraid to use too much because what I think it has, it's from the prickly ash tree. And like once you know that, it kind of tastes a little ashy, like peppery, ashy kind of thing. But I don't get the tingly spice, which is if you have like Szechuan food with the peppercorns, you bite it and it's like it's all like numbing, right? That's
as I
the
drink
tingly
more
I was going for.
Getting
more numb
tongue. Maybe it's just suggestive, but
it's building.
Okay, here. So I used for 2.5 gallons, 5 pounds of Simpson Golden Promise, 4 ounces of Crystal 15, 8 ounces of rolled oats, which I toasted, and 2 pounds of German Pilsner. I don't know. I was just fucking around. So I use Chinook, Zythos, Motueka, something called HBC 438, and then Motueka at like a Whirlpool edition. And then I dry hopped with Chinook and Motueka, I think.
So somebody just gave you a bunch of weird hops. And you
No, honestly, I just went down to More Beer and was like, "Hey, well, let's just look for tropical
Give me the
flavors."
weirdest, most modern hops you have.
Yeah, it was weird because I've never done it.
Somehow out of that, I don't know, that would work out.
Well, because this is my thing, and I want it to be an IPA up front. I wanted to, and so I wanted like a pine hit. And for me, I haven't gotten out of the.
If I have vaporizer, dude. I mean, come on, you want to find it?
I don't know. Weird, right?
It's unique, yeah.
It's definitely unique. I'll tell you what's not weird, but is unique, is the Brew Guru app from the AHA. From the American Homebrew Association. If you guys need to figure out where you can best hone in on those deals, because if you're an AHA member, and of course you are, you get usually 10% off on a bunch of different places, brew pubs and bars and whatever. But it's hard to know which one of those gives you the discount. So connect with the Brew Guru app. It's free on anywhere you get your apps. Add your little, your number in there, and wherever you are, it'll tell you, hey, this bar down the street has the, has these discounts for you. Leave where you are or whatever.
Or if I'm sitting in a bar, I was like, oh, did this one do a discount or not? And you don't want to go to a website to look at it. I was just like, click on the app.
Right.
It's right up top. It's
and then you show them. You don't have to carry a card around. It's right there and explains them all. You show them your phone.
Super easy.
It's pretty cool. Plus, you can read articles from Zymergy on it, too, which is kind of nice also. And really, it'll just kind of introduce you to, excuse me, I'm burping all over the place, places you've never been. If you travel a lot, the Brew Guru app will help you find cool places to go and drink. So check it out. You can go to homebrewassociation.com to learn more, or just go to your app store and Brew Guru. Grab that thing. Okay, let's give something away. Brian, who wins the grog tags?
I'm pretty sure.
Our
we need to do some
$40
math
grog
here.
tag gift certificate here. We don't have another prize. Grog tag takes the segment, which is amazing.
Tom gets the grog tag, I believe.
Tom, all right. Congratulations, Tom. You get $40 at grogtag.com. Head over there now. And then if you guys want to save 10% off of your grog tags, use code BNARMY. Right,
and Michael just gets the pleasure of being in our presence.
He gets the pleasure of being in our presence.
I get to try JP's experience.
And
there you go.
What's this we're drinking, though, by the way?
What are we drinking
Let's
right now?
mention this, because this is fantastic.
I have the honor of being a part of the Sante Adarius Cellar Club, Syrah's Cellar, and I brought one of their seasonals from this last year. It's called Variations on a Theme. It's a 6.8 sour blend that they do.
That's great
really
beer.
Nice.
Thank you for bringing it.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
pleasure.
man.
My treat.
Excuse me, I choked on my own saliva drinking my own beer like an idiot, like a big dummy. Anyway, the Spring Fest is coming up April 1st, everybody. So go to thebrewingnetwork.com, find out how to get tickets, join us in Todos Santos Park here across the street from the studio, and drink some beer and come hang out with us, and it'll be a great time. I'm sure of it. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. This has been Dr. Homebrew. See ya.